right ahead.
Just curious what you made of Giovanni's performance and kind of what you liked most about what you saw in film.
I mean, anytime you don't turn the ball over, that's a pretty critical piece to it for us. I thought we talk a lot about ball security as quarterbacks. It's decision making, but it's also the accuracy with which you throw. So putting the ball in aggressive locations, like if we miss throwing the ball behind a receiver, that's how you throw picks. If you miss throwing the ball in front, we'll work on it. So I thought he played well, did what he needed to do. There's obviously things we got to fix too.
What was his response? I think it was Anderson running down the seam and he just missed him. Did you just not see him on that one, or?
I'm like so dialed in on Oregon, I can't even remember it right now. You know, if he missed him, then it's my fault then, and I'll wear it. He probably wasn't supposed to be looking there, or wasn't part of his read.
There's a lot of dink and doink, obviously, so far. Is that just what the defense has been giving you, or would you like to see more explosive? I mean, obviously, you want to see more explosive.
Yeah, I mean, we had 7 explosives on Saturday. We need to up that number. There were 2 throws that we didn't finish that were easy explosives that make that game feel a little bit different. But yeah, I think our offensive line and our backs and our tight ends are a strength. I think our receivers are really good, but when you feel like you're kind of grinding somebody down, it's hard to go away from it. Trust me, I've got a lot of calls on there that I want to call, and are kind of burning a hole in my pocket. But you know, I've got to be smart. What's most important to me and my loyalty is to the team, and what's most important to the team is winning. It's not numbers or stats. So you got to kind of feel how the game's played and go with it.
How's he handling that? I imagine he wants to air it out a little more too, but he seems pretty calm.
I think we're all on the same page. Just win, baby. Yeah. It's like who's that? Al Davis, right?
Yeah.
Like, just win and do what you need to do. You protect the football. You run the ball. You hit some shots when you need to, and you're gonna win a lot of football games.
How proud are you? Pardon me. How proud are you of Trent after the drop to come back and just continue to go?
Keep playing. Keep going. Yeah, I mean that's awesome. That's perseverance and not letting one play affect the next. But that's also, you guys I think are talking to Trent today. That's Trent. Like, the dude works, and if he gets disappointed, he works harder. Like, he just keeps going. He's awesome.
What is the proper amount of explosives that you'd want?
More. No, I think it's usually based on how many plays you actually run. If you're on 50 and you can get 7-8 explosives, that's pretty good. But if you're running, I think we ran 80 something plays the other night. We'd like to be 10, 11, 12.
Is he pretty much just running what you're calling? Is he having to make a lot of checks at the line, or how is he doing on that front?
There's a mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some, there's some run it runs. There's plays where he's having to make checks pre-snap. There's plays where he has to read it post-snap. You try to have a really good balance of all of those areas. So if every play is a post-snap read, to me, that's the most stressful on a quarterback, where post-snap, like RPOs are like that. I have to make the right decision for this offense to be successful. The pre-snap decisions are easier, where I've got to change plays or do whatever. That's a little less stressful. And then the plays where it's just run it runs or things like that, those are easy or easier. We don't take them for granted. But you try to have a nice mix of everything, so you're not just really weighing that guy down or slowing down, his speed of play.
How would you evaluate his progression? Is he locking in on the first read? Is he going to, and you haven't had that many passes? But.
No, I mean, there's a mix. I think there's some times where my comments say, awesome job, love your eyes. And there's times where I say, hey, you look like a bobblehead. You're going back and forth. And so you encourage the positives and you fix the things that need work on.
The 98-yard drive, 8 minutes and 3 seconds.
Yeah.
What was that like from your perspective?
I mean, it's always stressful. The thing that happened there is we overcame penalties. We were in I want to say 2nd and 25. We hit a screen. I think it was a 14-yard gain. It probably should have been a 40-yard gain. We hit a screen to make it 3rd and 11, and Vonnie and Trent make a pretty impressive play on 3rd and 11 where we get flushed a little bit. He hits Trent, and Trent runs for about 30 extra yards down. That was a huge play. It got us down into, at least into field goal range, and then made a couple more plays. So that's good. But the big part of that, and where I want to win, like, that was 98 yards, but maybe the bigger part of it at that point in the game was eight plus minutes. So it was, you make them sit, you let our defense rest. Those all help the team.
When you take a look at this Oregon defense, which level, which unit, which part of it maybe jumps out, off the film the most to you?
Well, I think you know which one jumps off the film, just in terms of presence. But they're all very good. Like, they've got really good players at every level. Big, fast, tough. But there's some bodies up front that are not like the bodies that we've played so far. They're big, athletic, physical guys. So we're, it'll be a challenge, but I think a challenge we're all really excited for. And a challenge I think that, our guys will step up to. But yeah, the front is certainly the thing that kind of snaps your head back at first.
Jordan Burge, number one for them, and he probably played his best game of the year against Oregon State last year. Just what stands out about him, and I'm not asking you to give too much away, but how do you go about stopping a guy who's really athletic?
I mean, guys his size usually are 3 techniques or, usually our interior guys. He's 6'6", 295 pounds. He's just a big human being, but he moves like a receiver. Like he's just a good big athlete, but you can't just say, hey, one, like they're all really good. So we need to know who they all are and know what their tendencies and techniques that they like to use are. But I think our guys are certainly up for the challenge.
You mentioned all the plays you have in your back pocket. I imagine that's almost an advantage going into something like that. You have something they haven't seen, and you have still more to.
Yeah, there's always stuff that you have in, and you may not get it run, but you kind of keep it in the lab or in the crock pot. You let it kind of slow cook, and you'll when it needs to come out, it'll come out. So yeah, there's always stuff like that, and kind of little gadgety type things that you want to work on for a little while before you just throw them out there. But,
as someone who has experience in this rivalry, playing and coaching early on, what's it feeling like for you to be back, and what's the energy from you heading into this week?
It's always, every game's a big game, and I think that with where we are as a team and an offense, like the goal is still, or the mission is really still the process. We need to get better. I told them today we're just tired of being close. Like, I don't want to come in here and say, hey, we're so close. It's time to make that step and dive into the details, alignment, assignment, technique, and an urgency with everything that we do. So I think that I'm not really thinking about the pageantry of everything. It's like, we got to get better. I thought we had a good Tuesday. We need to come in and have great meetings tonight and an even better day tomorrow and just keep building.
Did Tyler Bolden come through okay? Are you guys hopeful that you might get him this weekend?
I don't know. I don't know much about, or I do know about injuries, but I just don't want to talk about them. So that's the nice way of saying it.
How do you feel the line kind of just fared overall?
We're still, we played 8 guys and we played them all a lot. It's just so good. The only way to really get better at football is playing football, and they're playing, they're learning, make some mistakes, but we get it on film. You can teach off of it. So it's awesome for those guys. I think have a group there that we feel really good about.
Josh is making that move to a new spot. What do you see out of him at that new spot?
I thought he had his best game. We've only played 2 with him, but he was our offensive player of the game last week. He was physical, violent, all the stuff you want out of offensive lineman. I was really happy for him because he works and he's detailed with everything he does. He's a professional, so it was cool for him. He played really well.
Thanks, Ryan.
Appreciate you guys.